This is the story of Antarah Ibn Shaddad, a slave whose name was spit upon, but whose spirit conquered even death itself. Welcome to our channel, where we bring you the greatest stories from around the world. And today we have a special treat for you. This episode is part of our series, where we bring you the legends of old. Legends that have survived through time because they taught us some of life's most important lessons. These legends show us how to be brave, how to be honorable, and how to face life's challenges with dignity. His tribe forced him to herd camels, to walk behind even the youngest of their sons, and to live a life of silence and servitude. Well, the answer lies in the depths of his soul, a place where love and longing intertwine to form the most powerful force of all. Because what sets Antarah apart is not his lineage or the color of his skin, but the indomitable spirit that refused to be broken. Suddenly, the peaceful lull was shattered by the distant sound of drums, signaling the arrival of raiders. And as the dust settled on the battlefield, a new chapter began to unfold, a chapter filled with love, loss, and the pursuit of justice. He fought not just for himself, but for his people, breaking chains and challenging norms. There were bodies strewn across the ground, each telling a tale of bravery and sacrifice. His journey from a despised slave to a revered warrior teaches us that our worth is not determined by the chains of society, but by the strength of our character. Just like Antarah, we all face challenges that test our endurance and our spirit. But his story reminds us that with courage, determination, and unwavering love, we can overcome any obstacle and carve our own path to glory. So, whenever life's winds blow hard and shadows seem to consume your path, remember the tale of Antarah, the slave who became a legend. Let his story be your guiding light, leading you through the darkness and empowering you to rise above your circumstances. And in the center, standing barely, bleeding but unbroken, was Antarah. His sword was still raised as if in a final salute to the sky. The slave who became a legend did not die that night. His spirit lived on in the hearts of those who heard his tale. His story echoed through generations, carried on the winds of the desert, a reminder that true strength comes not from birthright, but from the courage to defy one's circumstances. Yet, even in the face of such adversity, Antarah never lost sight of his love for Abla. His nights were spent not in revelry, but in writing poems that poured out his heart's longing. His verses were like arrows piercing the darkness, carrying his love's message to her very soul. Each word a testament to their undying bond. Time, however, had a cruel twist in store. Abla was taken, snatched away in a raid, or perhaps betrayed by those she trusted. Antarah's world shattered, leaving him amidst a sea of grief and rage. But even in the darkest depths of despair, Antarah's spirit remained unbroken. He took up his sword, looked at the moonlit dunes, and whispered a vow. "If I fall tonight, let them say he died standing for love." And so he charged into the night, facing an army alone. Antarah's bravery had won him fame, but it hadn't earned him equality. When he approached Abla's father to ask for her hand in marriage, he was met with a sneer and a challenge. A challenge that demanded not just his love, but his lifeblood, 1,000 red camels, the finest in all of Arabia. It was a proposal that was not meant to be accepted, but to humiliate. But Antarah was not one to back down. He paid with more than camels. He paid with victories, with the echo of his name in every valley. With each battle he won, his legend grew, becoming a thorn in the side of his oppressors. Fear gripped the hearts of the men of ABS as they hastily prepared to defend their land. But Antarah's heart pounded not with fear, but with a strange sense of purpose. In the midst of this chaos, Shaddad, Antarah's father, a man who had always treated his son with disdain, suddenly realized the gravity of their situation. The warriors of ABS were falling, and victory seemed like a distant dream. Desperation etched lines on his face as he turned to Antarah, his gaze pleading. "Fight, Antarah," he yelled, his voice hoarse with urgency. "Fight for your people, for your tribe. In that moment, the dam broke within Antar. Years of suppressed emotions, the anger, the resentment, the pain, it all surged to the surface. Looking into his father's eyes, he saw not just fear, but a reflection of his own pain. It was a pain born of prejudice, nurtured by ignorance, and left to fester in the harsh environment of their society. But that pain had also been the catalyst for his growth, shaping him into the man he was. And now it was time for him to take a stand, not just for himself, but for his tribe. He knew that his father wasn't asking him to fight for his honor, for he had none in their eyes. No, he was asking him to fight for survival. And so, without a word, Antar responded with action. He picked up his sword, not as a slave, but as a warrior. As the battle raged on, Antar transformed into a whirlwind of steel and fury. His movements were swift and precise, each strike echoing the pain and humiliation he had endured for so long. The men of ABS watched in awe as Antar single-handedly turned the tide of battle. Their fear turned to admiration, their whispers to cheers. And for the first time, they saw not a slave, but a hero. Antar fought not just with a warrior's skill, but with the passion of a poet, the intensity of a lover, and the spirit of a legend in the making. That day, the desert bore witness to the birth of Antarah the Warrior, a title that would echo through generations. His name, once spoken with disdain, was now a symbol of strength and resilience. While others might have crumbled under the weight of their circumstances, Antar stood tall. He didn't let his environment define him. Instead, he chose to rise above it. For Antar loved a woman named Abla, his cousin, who was as beautiful and radiant as the desert moon. Their bond was not merely a physical attraction, but a spiritual connection that defied the boundaries set by his tribe. Abla saw Antar not as a slave, but as a man worthy of her love and respect. Her love was a balm to his wounded spirit, a reminder that even in the harshest of deserts, hope could bloom. He became a ghost in his own home, a shadow in the bustling markets of his tribe. Yet beneath that stoic exterior, a fire burned brightly within him. Antar was not defined by the chains that bound him. He was defined by the dreams that soared in his heart. So grab your weapons, sharpen your minds, and join us on an adventure through time. You don't want to miss this. In the vast expanse of the Arabian desert where the scorching sun beats down on golden dunes and where the whisper of the wind carries tales of bravery and despair, there lived a man named Antarah Ibn Shaddad. Born amidst the shifting sands of time, Antarah's story is one that echoes with the pain of oppression and the triumph of the indomitable human spirit. His tale is not just a legend, it's a testament to resilience, a beacon of hope for those who dared to dream of freedom in a world shackled by prejudice. Antar was born into a world where his very existence seemed to be a mistake. With skin as dark as the night sky and the blood of an enslaved African mother coursing through his veins, he was seen as nothing more than a burden by his Arab father, a man of power and prestige. His tribe, the ABS, hated him for being a constant reminder of their own perceived weakness. He was not just a son, he was a stain on their honor. And so they branded him with a name that cut deep like a desert wind, the slave. From the moment he drew his first breath, Antar was subjected to the harsh realities of his fate. The burning question on everyone's lips was, why does Antar endure such mistreatment? Why doesn't he fight back? What makes him stay? Now, if you think that Antar was just another victim of circumstance, I invite you to think again. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a sense of foreboding settled over the camp of Antar's tribe. Yet, despite his heroic deeds, Antar's story was far from over. As the years passed, Antar's name became synonymous with courage and determination. The next morning, when the sun rose over the horizon, it revealed a scene that left the tribe of ABS speechless. In the saga of Antarah Ibn Shaddad, we find a timeless tale of resilience and love. Want more stories like this? Subscribe now, and keep the fire of legend alive. Text appears on screen over fading black background. Subscribe for epic legends. Tell us who we should bring next. New episodes weekly.